UFC 290 goes down this weekend. I'm going to give you guys my full breakdown and prediction of each and every fight on the main card. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I can't do every fucking fight. I don't have the time for that. So just the ones on the main card. Let's go. Opening up the main card, we have Bo Nickal versus Val Woodbum. Can I just say how fucked up it is that the UFC didn't put Robbie Lawler on the main card for his final fight, his retirement fight in the UFC, but no, they put Bo Nickal versus Val Woodbum. I don't even know who the fuck that dude is, and they have 3 fights combined in the UFC, but no. They have to be on the main card instead of the legend Robbie Lawler. That's just that's complete bogus. Bo Nickal is opening up as the biggest favorite in UFC history at minus 2,800, which is just insane. I do expect Bo Nickal to win this fight. I'm not going to come on here and give you guys the craziest Val Woodbum breakdown and how he fights. I'm not going to do that shit. Bo Nickal should be winning this fight. But Val Woodbum has some crazy power in his hands. I watched a few of his fights. He has power. He swings for the bleachers, so anything could happen. It's mixed martial arts. Anything could happen. Maybe Val Woodbum is the next fucking GSP. Maybe he is. We just don't know. What if he knocks out Bo Nickal cold in the first round? If you got a few bucks, put it on Val Woodbum. Put it on the bum. Put it on Val Woodbum. Maybe he'll cash you a couple $100 if he beats Bo Nickal in the first round. I don't expect it to happen, but shit, maybe it does. Bo Nickal, as we know, wrestled at Penn State. He's a big wrestler. He has no other background in martial arts. Maybe he can't take a punch as these other guys since he hasn't really been in martial arts for a while. What if Val Woodbum just chins him? I don't know. But I'm not going to be stupid. Bo Nickal, second round submission. Book it. Moving up the card, we have Jalen Turner versus Dan Hooker. This is going to be a really fun fight, but I do have Jalen Turner absolutely dominating Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker is just not the same guy who showed up to fight Dustin Poirier a few years back. But even if he did, even if he was the Dan Hooker of old, Jalen Turner would still knock this dude out. Dan Hooker loves to fight from range and using those leg kicks, but guess what? Let me tell you something, buddy. You're fighting a 6'3" lightweight. A 6'3" lightweight in Jalen Turner, so that's not going to fucking work. Dan Hooker's going to have to come onto the inside, but I don't see him standing a chance against Jalen Turner. He has really nice knees. He has really nice kicks to the body. Their straight punches combined with those hooks are really powerful and nice for Jalen Turner. Jalen Turner is simply one of the most underrated strikers in the UFC. His ability to combine kicks, knees, and punches all together into one combo is super well done. Not to mention Jalen Turner's work on the ground. Look at his short notice fight against Mateusz Gamrot, the scary grappler. Man, he held his own. He held his own against Mateusz Gamrot. He's also able to jump on submissions very quickly. He's a very fast but patient fighter as well. I just don't see Dan Hooker even surviving the first round. I think Jalen Turner is going to crack him in the first minute. Dan Hooker won't know what to do. He's going to try to grab a leg. Jalen Turner is going to sink in a guillotine or some sort of submission. First round submission for Jalen Turner. Now onto the featured fight of the card. We have Robert Whittaker versus Dinkus du Plessis. This fight's just not going to be competitive. Dinkus du Plessis just isn't good. He sucks, if I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. And now he's fighting one of the most well-rounded fighters in the UFC and maybe the most well-rounded fighter in middleweight history in Robert Whittaker. You know what Dinkus du Plessis reminds me of? Dinkus du Plessis reminds me, on the feet that is, of Juliana Pena in her trilogy with Amanda Nunes. And if you know anything about that fight, it's not a compliment. It is not a compliment. Dinkus du Plessis sucks on the feet, man. He's terrible. It's hard for my eyes to watch him. Now, I will admit, he is not bad on the ground. He's a decent grappler. Yes, I think he's overrated in that sense, but that shit's not going to matter. None of that's going to matter. None of that groundwork from du Plessis is going to matter when he's fighting Robert Whittaker, who has just phenomenal takedown defense. I'm going to keep it blunt with you guys. I think I got a better chance of beating Robert Whittaker than Dinkus du Plessis does this weekend. Robert Whittaker is literally better in every single aspect of mixed martial arts when you're comparing him to Dinkus du Plessis. Or should I say Dinkus du Plessis? He's just not good. Du Plessis earned the most well-rounded middleweight in the world by beating a now-retired Derek Brunson and a washed-up and fat Darren Till. It makes zero sense. But you can thank Israel Adesanya for that. This fight will not be competitive or close at all. Dinkus du Plessis just isn't on the level of Robert Whittaker. He would have to hope and pray for a free KO. Even then, he'd probably be surprising himself with a KO. Robert Whittaker by second round knockout. Now onto the co-main event of the evening. Brandon Moreno tries to defend his flyweight title against Alessandro Pantoja. Now this is a weird fight because I think there's a clear better fighter, but I still think it could go either way. Brandon Moreno is a much better striker. He's a better wrestler. Yes, Pantoja is a better grappler, but I think Brandon Moreno is just the better fighter, man. but there's some part of me that thinks Pantoja might get the victory. We know how good Pantoja is at getting that back and sinking in that rear naked choke, and Brandon Moreno, he is the type of fighter to have a mistake in him, which could lead to the end of his fight. Although Brandon Moreno is a great fighter, he tends to have 1 or 2 mistakes in him, which could lead to Pantoja getting the back and sinking in that rear naked choke. However, I just don't think that will happen. Brandon Moreno, I can't bet against the guy just because he might make a mistake. That's just not how the world works. Brandon Moreno is just a better fighter, and I think he will get it done. Pantoja overextends like a ridiculous amount when he first starts the fight. He starts with a crazy pace. He's overconfident, in my opinion. So look for the level change from Brandon Moreno in like 20 seconds into the fight. Of course, Brandon Moreno does have that 5-round experience. Pantoja has beaten him 2 times in the past, though, but I think Brandon Moreno has just improved leaps and bounds since their last fight, so I think he'll get it done. 4th round KO for the assassin baby, Brandon Moreno. Now onto the big fight, the main event of the evening, Alexander Volkanovski versus Yair Rodriguez. Yair Rodriguez is a dangerous opponent for Alexander Volkanovski. He's super unorthodox. He has a lot of different techniques when it comes to the striking game, so I could see that causing problems for a guy like Alexander Volkanovski. I think Yair Rodriguez could actually start the fight pretty well while Volkanovski is finding his range and his distance, but as the fight goes on, I think Volkanovski is just going to dominate him. Alexander Volkanovski is the best distance manager in the UFC, and I think he's going to be more prepared than Yair Rodriguez in this fight. He just comes into these fights so well prepared. Look for a wrestling-heavy approach from Alexander Volkanovski in this fight. We know how much he improved in that Islam Makhachev camp, so there's no real reason to throw that out the window. And Yair Rodriguez has had some defensive wrestling issues in the past, so look for Volk to exploit that. Of course, I think Alexander Volkanovski could strike with Yair Rodriguez. I think he's the best striker in MMA, but is there really a reason to when you know you're a much better wrestler and your ground and pound is so vicious? Alexander Volkanovski is simply the best fighter in the world. He's going to come too prepared for this fight, and I think he's going to dominate Yair Rodriguez into a 49-46 decision or a late TKO ground and pound stoppage. Let me know what you guys think of these predictions in the comments. I'm super excited for UFC 290. I'm absolutely buying the pay-per-view. Until next time, thanks for watching.